My name is Ipsen, I'm 18 years old, and my passion is diving. I'm from Clayton, California. That's where I hang out a lot of times, Concord, Walnut Creek. I got started with diving because of my parents. I go to high school at De La Salle. I was really happy with the decision to go to De La Salle High School. De La Salle obviously is really good at football, but one of the things I like about them is they value all the sports equally, and even though they are so good at football, they have never neglected the diving program, even though it's so small. But I felt like this was the right fit for me, and a lot of my friends from my elementary school were going here. I met a lot of great people here, and all the teachers have been really helpful with me with all of my traveling, which has been a really tough process because it's hard to manage diving and traveling, but they've always given me my homework ahead of time, and it's just been a really good experience so far. I used to always just do flips in my backyard on my trampoline because my neighbor, she would come over and she was a gymnast, and she would always try to teach me all these new things that she was learning at gymnastics. So that's kind of when I first started doing all these flips and stuff. And then I started gymnastics, but I was getting moved up with kids that were older than me, and I started to feel uncomfortable. So then I tried swimming. I love swimming too, but I got bored with just going back and forth. And so then we just found diving from that. I realized it when I went to my third junior nationals, and I was 10 years old, and I was in the 13 and under age group, and that was when I first won my won my first national title. I don't think anyone had won it at the age of 10, so I realized then, I think, that I had to start making some decisions with everything that I was doing with school and how I was going to manage it, and also with the other sports I was doing. So that was kind of a turning point for me. And then after that meet, I started getting picked to be on the Olympic medal program and things like that, so that's when my diving career started to escalate. My family is great. I have a really good relationship with my family. My younger sister, Lauren, she goes to Carondelet High School, which is right across the street, so I get to see her a lot now, which is cool. And my parents are great too. They own Skipolini's restaurants, which is, there's 5 of them now, and it's pizza restaurant, pizza and pasta, and it's pretty impressive how they've raised both my sister and I, because you would think they wouldn't be around at all or they wouldn't have time for us, but they actually are so good with managing their work and with also taking care of us. It's been a really great experience so far. My parents are people that they don't put that much pressure on me, which a lot of elite athletes, their parents are the ones that are pushing them way too hard, and later in life it's really not good. So I've always been the one putting pressure on myself, and they haven't put pressure on me. They've always let me know, like, if I want to quit, that's like my decision, but I've never wanted to. It's been my passion. So for me, diving has always been what I wanted to do ever since I started, but there have been some really rough times for me, especially with being in high school and missing some things. I've missed dances, I've missed just hanging out with friends, and sometimes it's hard to feel like you can really bond with people when you'll be in school 1 week and then you'll be gone for 2 weeks, and then you'll be back, and it's hard to form really good relationships with people. But over the past couple years, I have made some really good friends, but it is really tough trying to manage diving and having a social life, and that's been one of the hardest parts for me. People at school, they've always been really supportive of what I do, and I mean, sometimes at the beginning I felt like people didn't really get what I was doing because I would just be gone a lot, but then once De La Salle started realizing that I was leaving all these, like, school for so long because of diving, people started to realize it, and it's been a good experience. They've always just been really supportive, and I feel like part of that is because there are so many great athletes at this school. It's not like I'm like one good athlete at the school. There's so many people that are so talented, whether it be athletics or in other things too. It's just, there's tons of really talented people here. My favorite dive is a reverse 1.5 with 3.5 twists, and I've been doing it for about 4 years, and I just really like twisting. I just think it's really fun, and it's different, and it's one of the things I'm pretty good at. And so it's where you lead the boards forwards, and then you do 1.5 flips backwards, and then you have to do 3.5 twists in it. So there's a lot going on, but it's fun. For me, my favorite experience in diving so far has been my trip to Rome. It was a surreal experience, and it was my first really big international contest at the senior level, and I feel like was a big turning point in my diving career because that was when I first started being recognized as a senior international diver, and I went to the meet just doing synchronized diving with my synchro partner Troy Dumais, and he was really good about the whole situation because he knew that I was nervous, and we worked together really well in the contest, and we wound up second. And so I was not expecting that at all. I was like, hopefully make finals, you know, make top 6 hopefully. And so that was a really big moment in my diving career, and probably my worst moment. It was pretty embarrassing. Balking and diving, well, on the platform is when you're doing a handstand and then you're trying to hold the handstand and go off the platform, but then you kind of come back down, your feet touch the platform. You're not allowed to have your feet touch the platform. And if you do, then 2 points are deducted. And if you do it twice, then you get zeros on the dive. So I was about 10 years old, and I was in diving on platform. You have to do handstands, and handstands were not my strong point when I was a younger diver on platform. And I balked once, so they take off 2 points from the judges, from each judge's score. And I was like, okay, I can't balk again or else it's a failed dive. So I went up into my handstand and I felt it kind of start to wobble, and then I balked again, and then you just hear the judge yell, okay, all zeros. And then it's called the walk of shame in diving, when you like balk twice and then you have to walk back down the spiral staircase. It's so terrible. So that was probably one of my worst moments. During practice, I always feel uptight. I'm an uptight person kind of all the time, and but my coach is really relaxed and the atmosphere is really relaxed, and sometimes the practices, it kind of depends on where I am in the year. If I'm doing a lot of weights at the time, then my practices will be a little bit shorter and not as hard. But if I'm doing less weights and I'm gearing up for a meet, then my practices will get harder and I do more of my hard dives and kind of have it like a meet simulation type of practice where I kind of go through my list of dives a few times and pretend like it's a meet to get prepared. For this whole experience, I've looked up to my coach right now, Phil Tawney, and my old coach, Carla Helder. She coached me up until I was about 9 years old, and she moved to Buffalo, which was really hard for me because I grew up with her from the time I was about 5 to 9 years old. I was with her every day, and we had a really good relationship. And then after that, I started diving with Phil, and I've been diving with Phil ever since, and he's a great coach. He's really good for me because I put so much pressure on myself, and I'm a perfectionist, and he's kind of more laid back, and in practices the atmosphere is more laid back, but I make it like for myself just like really strict, and I try to push myself in practice. So I feel like we work together really well, and it's nice now because I get to see Carla at different meets, at different US meets. I saw her like 3 times over the last year, and we work together then too, so it's been a really good combination. I got a scholarship to Stanford University, which is in Palo Alto, and I'm going there next year, and I'm really excited about it because I feel like for me it will be nice to start diving with a big team, because for the last couple of years I've just been diving, it's been me and maybe 1 or 2 other people, so it'll be nice to be on that team where everyone is pushing each other, and hopefully I can learn a lot and get, hopefully that experience will let me be able to go to the Olympics later that year.